Have you, this is more out of curiosity than anything else. Have you gone into a company, you went through that exercise, and then the things that they put on the board were like, ugh, I don't know if I'm on board with that. Anything
Yeah.
like that? Yeah. Tell me about that.
Yeah. I mean, and the reason is because sometimes they're not genuine.
Oh,
Sometimes you can tell, look, these are things that we think we should say, right? These are things we Googled. When we knew this session was coming up, we Googled these things. Now, after we get these on the wall, we run them through a few tests. And again, this is Patrick Lencioni. Are you familiar with Patrick Lencioni?
yeah, I am. Yeah.
This is Lencioni stuff. And so there are a few values that are killers, right? One, the biggest offenders we call permission to play values, right? Things like integrity, honesty, and things that should be table stakes, right? I mean, you don't need to tell people you're honest, right? I mean, if you tell people you're honest, they're almost like, well, I'm not sure I believe you if you have to say it. So there's some of these things that are just, they're table stakes. And those just kind of weaken, remove the integrity of the whole thing. So we need to throw those out. There's some things that are aspirational, okay? And it's okay if I aspire to it, I'm committed to it, and I think I can get there. That's fine. But sometimes things are so aspirational, they're not even who we are. I had a group one time, and we said, look, we just don't work hard. I had hard work on the board. They're like, we just don't work hard. Okay? At least they're honest about it, okay? Now, if they just said, we don't work as hard as we should, but we're committed to it, then we'd leave it on the board. But they're just like, we just don't work hard, right? So that's an aspirational thing, take it off, okay? And then there's some things that are accidental. I had a core value in my business when I did this on my own of flexibility. I thought that was great, okay? You need to be flexible at this company. You need to go do this and do that. And what I had was institutionalized chaos. Because when this area was behind, people would run over there. And we had people running all over the place doing other people's jobs rather than holding people accountable for their work.
What do you mean it was accidental?
It's an accidental value. It came as something that we encouraged. It got applauded and became institutionalized. It's good for you to go here and go here and go all over the place. And sometimes that's good, okay? But we need to let people own their own areas or we never realize who's not being accountable and doing their job.
What are some other filters you go through?
We do those 3, and then we compare them to the people in the room. Let's do a little analysis. Let's go around the room and say, did these really fit these people? We call it the people analyzer, which is a tool in EOS. But we do the second part of the people analyzer. I'm sorry, the first part, which is the right person part of the people analyzer. And we go through and see if it really fits the people in the room.
And you'll talk about this. So, and I always get these confused. Traction is the one where it's like the story, right? The books.
Traction's the textbook. That's
okay. Yes.
It's the overall book.
And what's the other? Rocket Fuel.
Get a Grip is the story.
Get a Grip. There we go. Thank you.
Yep.
Because I always get those confused. And then you have Rocket Fuel, right? Is that the other one?
Rocket Fuel is the book about visionaries and integrators.
Gotcha. Okay. So, but Get a Grip. That one's great because they do talk about that. That can be a painful process, though, the people filter, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm guessing if you were just doing it yourself, you would not probably force yourself to go through that pain as much as if you had a coach that can kind of take some of the heat.
Right. It's almost impossible. Again, I'm not saying you can't self-implement, but if I'm the leader of the business and I'm trying to orchestrate and facilitate that with my group, people are just going to shut down. Yeah. It's almost impossible for me to do that. And
as the coach, are you staying in touch with them throughout? Because how often do you meet with the companies?
So early on, the first 60 days, we have 3 sessions, but after that, it's quarterly.